Hey there, parents. I'm super excited today because now that we've gone through the cycle breakers, we have identified some of the trigger moments, the reasons. Remember with the cycle breaker, the negative cycles and the weight that our negative thoughts and our negative habits have on our development and our kids' development ultimately, because it's the human process plus it's nature, but it's also nurture. It's what we've been raised with, right? We've talked about that. We've talked about the mental raccoons. We've looked at the thing under the thing. Now let's put it all together and be the parents that we needed as kids. Be the parent that shows up as a hero, as a guide, and help our kids on their hero's journey. Just a little background, a little summary of the hero's journey. This is phenomenal. So today, in today's lesson, we're going to look at what the hero's journey is. What is this thing? And we're going to look at four main characters that we play in any given episode in our lives, whether our kids have a breakdown, a meltdown, a blow up, whether we have a breakdown, a meltdown, a blow up, whether we have one with our spouse, whether we're going to the store, whatever, we play one of four characters, and it's up to us. Once we become aware of this, this has been such a huge revelation to me, because just being aware of the principles that you are going to learn about today, and I'll give you practical tips that have helped me and others take control. You get so much control out of your day, and you feel a lot less like a ship just floating at sea, but you can be more intentional and be more patient, be more present at work and at home. But let's take a look at what this hero's journey is. So this is the story arc, the process of pretty much any story that you or I know about, any movie, any book, any fable, any fairy tale, any character, right? So we have a hero, and the hero lives their normal life. They live in this ordinary world, right? And they want something. This hero wants something, and they feel too normal. Maybe the thing that they want, maybe they want the girl or the boy, or they want the perfect family life. They want to live happily ever after. They want to win the championship. They want to save the town, the city. They want to deactivate the bomb, right? And there are all of these problems that are in the way, and many that they don't even see, right? But somewhere in the beginning of the story, in the first act, the first part, the hero, and he comes across this mentor. Okay, and the mentor is usually older, maybe more experienced, maybe they've been, around the block a time or two. Maybe they just know this specific, path or this specific route or something. They have some comforting experience quality to them, right? And that's the guide. And so the guide is responsible for drawing the hero out to give them the courage, to give them a path to get this thing. And along the way, they meet enemies, they meet allies, they fall down into pits, dangers, adventures, things like this, villains. And as a result, the hero goes through a change. The caterpillar becomes a butterfly, so to speak, right? So it doesn't necessarily get take Rocky, like the classic, Rocky 1. In the end, he didn't win spoiler alert, he didn't win the championship. He didn't beat Apollo Creed in Rocky 1, but he proved that he wasn't just a bum in the neighborhood. He believed there was some change, right? So what does this have to do with parenting? It has, I'm glad you asked. It has everything to do with parenting. So the hero, there are four main characters in most stories that we're familiar with. And those characters are the hero, we'll use blue. The hero, and we'll use red for the villain. That's the one, obviously, change. We're not going to have a lesson on terms, but the one stopping the hero, there is the victim. And there is the guide. And there are lots of other characters, and but these are the four main characters that are in most stories. So the hero is the main character. It's the one who wants something. It's the one that is in an ordinary world and it has an opportunity to go through a change, to go through a metamorphosis. The guide is the one that's leading the path, leading the hero, helping the hero, giving a strategy. And in essence, the hero is the main character, but the guide in this sense is the leader. Why is this important? Because a lot of parents, and me included, we love being heroes. We're our child's hero, but it's not that necessarily, because in our child's story, in order to be seen as the hero, in order to be the hero that we have in our minds, we must be the guide. And I'll put some practical spin on this, but after we go over these, right? So we are the heroes of our story. What do we want? And many parents, most parents, I would say, they forget that they are the hero in their own story, and they become more like the villain, the victim of their own story. And if you're the victim of your own story, you're going to be drawn to be a villain. And what is a villain? The villain is the character who is stopping the hero from doing something. I learned these processes. I learned the thing under the thing from a Hollywood editor named Jeff Barch, that principle. I learned this kind of framework from a business owner and business expert and a writer, Donald Miller. And he looks at businesses like Story. His company is Story Branding. And I've applied these principles to the family life because we have a story, right? So the villain is the one who stops the hero. And Donald Miller noticed that something about the villain always has some sort of scar on their face, some sort of broken wings, some sort of symbol, some sort of limp, some sort of something to show that they've gone through some trauma. They've gone through some issues. And the thing about the villain is they haven't overcome the issues. And that's why if we are the victim of our own story, it means as a villain, they haven't overcome these issues. They haven't resolved having the scar. They haven't resolved not being able to walk. They haven't resolved being second, in the family. They haven't resolved this. So then they have this pain and they want to inflict the pain to the world or to the town or to the city or to the hero themselves, right? And the victim is the character that needs saving. Something else about the villain can easily become the hero with some other options, right? So we look at movies like Malefica, right? The bad character in Sleeping Beauty, I think it was. But all of a sudden, you follow her story. She was the hero in her story, right? And then it let her affect, and then she used her story to cause harm, right? So you have these sort of fairy tale retells from different perspective. But anyway, the villain and the hero are very closely related. It's all a matter of whether you're going to make your own decisions or you're going to let your situation, your cycles, your past traumas create your situation for you, create who you are. So they're the same. They're very closely connected. It's what's in control. And that's what we're doing with apparent leadership. That's what we're doing with these tools to help you take control of your decisions. Take control of your story so that you can be the driver, you can be the hero of your story, and you can be the guide to your children's story, right? And that's what we're looking for. And we don't want the victim mindset. So I'll give you a story. So for those of you who don't know, I'm divorced, separated, co-parent. We have that sort of set up. And one time, my co-parent, the children's mother, we arrange, sometimes I like to take them to school, sometimes she will, but I asked her the night before, do you want me to take them to school tomorrow or you? And she said, no, she will. The next day came, and it's one of those things that she called me and said, can you take them because I'm running late? Or, these sorts of things happen, like in a relationship, right? And these sorts of things happened a lot in our relationship. So that automatically triggers something inside of you, and you start saying things, maybe you can relate to this. You start saying things, when is she going to learn? When are things going to be different? She just expects that, all of this. And I'm walking because I'm going to take them to school, right? And I'm walking thinking, now the rhythm of my day is ruined. Like I had plans for this morning. I had a schedule. I had a routine that I want to follow. And we need to talk about this, thinking all of this, talking to myself the whole way on the street until I stopped myself. Like I literally stopped as this hit me. And he said, wait, what am I became conscious of the words that are coming out of my mouth and coming to my mind. Said, this is victim speak. Victim speak is like, why does this always happen to me? Why couldn't they have done this? Why me? That kind of, when are things going to change? When are things going to be different? But looking at not from a solution minded, but from a victim mindset. And I stopped right there and I said, listen, talking to myself, like, listen, I'm about to become the guide walking to school. The kids, they didn't do anything. And I'm being filled with victim mindset. I knew that victim mindset will lead to villain behavior. And I took that hat off and I put on my guide hat, arrived at the house, picked up kids, took them to school. And you know what happened? The day happened. I don't remember what else happened. I don't remember that specific day. And that's the thing. The world goes on. So once we can decide who we are in our story, a victim mindset leads to villain behavior. I like that, what I just said. But a victim mindset leads to villain behavior. Who are you going to be in your story? Who are you in a specific episode of your story? This has gotten me, it wasn't only that time, this has gotten me out of a lot of potentially blow up situations, right? Or situations where I will have regretted certain behaviors, right? And sometimes I look at behaviors I had and I say, that was like a victim mindset, right? But becoming aware of these 4 character types, becoming aware that I can choose who I want to be, becoming aware that I have a goal. If I have a goal, I'm the hero working towards that goal. Who's my guide? Thinking, who's my guide in this? Who can help me in this situation? Right? Seeing my change, appreciating change in myself. This is huge. Appreciating change in myself and also appreciating change in my kids. So let's imagine as a guide, I have something that I want for the kids. Maybe I want them to do their homework over the weekend. And let's imagine they don't get their homework done. So I'm the guide helping them. And then, some obstacles, maybe a friend calls and asks them to go. Maybe they want to watch TV. Maybe they're just lazy because it's a Sunday and they have to do homework and what a drag. Or maybe like we have a victim time because we're feeling pressure and stress and I didn't do the homework. We didn't do the homework and now we don't have much time, or maybe I'm one of the obstacles, maybe my ego is one of the obstacles, maybe whatever. I don't have to tell you the types of obstacles that come up when there are things that we have to do. I don't have to tell you about those obstacles, but I will tell you that understanding each thing, that appreciate the change. Maybe they didn't finish the homework. Maybe I missed a page in the homework book. Maybe they didn't bring the book home, maybe whatever. But was there any change? This is what leadership was about. Was there any change? Was there any growth? If there was, celebrate that and see what starts to happen. Do this for 30 days. Celebrate that. Celebrate any little win. Oh, you got and came and you put your pencil and eraser and you open your book. You might be over like kicking the ball around now and you don't like, and it's hard to get started. But hey, you got the table ready. You've never done that before. Whatever, like little wins. And then here's the thing, as parent leaders, was there a change? No, there wasn't. It's the same thing every single night. Are you a parent leader or are you not a parent leader? Are you a hero or a guide? Or are you a victim? Or are you a villain? I had this conversation with somebody I was helping the other day, and they were talking about some behavior that they probably disagreed with that teacher was doing at school. And I didn't see it as something, a big deal. It was like something with a Misty spray bottle, whatever. I said, it's not fair to shame and victimize kids who misbehave or whatever. That was the conversation. And I said, well, it's more important to me to teach that nobody has the right to make me a villain in a situation besides me. And those are the principles that I want to pass on to my kids. And the way that we pass those on is to embody those principles ourselves. Who am I being? And this principle, embody this in yourself, understand, like not just understand this. And by the way, once you see this in a story, in a movie, once you start seeing it in movies and stories and books and novels and whatever, like you can't unsee it. So it's a part of you. It's just a matter of turning that mirror, turning that camera onto a selfie and be like, who am I playing in this story right now? The story where, you drive, if you drive, there's a lot of opportunity to be a victim or a villain. Doesn't have to be blowing your top. It can be by making somebody else feel bad, by telling somebody off and not taking crap from anybody. Sometimes maybe, but only through your intuition whether you're being a villain, a victim, a hero, or a guide. And this was so revolutionary to me when I realized this, when this information came to me, and I'm super excited to share it with you. You have the choice in your hands in a situation to be the hero, the guide, the villain, or the victim. It's up to you. Now that you have this awareness, go and use it and let me know how I can help you decide in your situation how to be the hero and the guide in your stories. Okay, let me know.